So, ayan. I will open lang yung chat natin on the other window ko para makita ko kung may chat kayo. Mag-chat lang kayo class kung meron kayong question doon sa ating i-discuss. Okay, so our subject is BIM or Building Information Modeling. So yan yung ibig sabihin ng BIM. So for the course description muna. Okay, so this course is an introduction. Take note, introduction lang to ha, to building information modeling, which will be utilized to give students practical and on-hand introduction to BIM and computer-related techniques for documentation and modeling of design structure. So kung makikita nyo, somewhat ito yung first line is only discussing the introduction para magka-idea kayo kung ano ba yon. Pero at saka yung mga computer-related techniques and documentation. Kaya lang, yun, again, it would be best if you would have access to that or if you can try to navigate these softwares as we go along throughout the semester. Para hindi lang puro words, verbal, images, pictures ang papakita ko. Well, included din doon yung ma-encounter nyo mismo yung eksaktong part nung natin, nung mga softwares. Wait lang. Okay, going back, yan. So it is also designed to enhance the knowledge and skills. Okay, so we will enhance your knowledge and skills in BIM in accordance with international standard. Okay, it covers the competencies required in construction engineering and management, infrastructure engineering, facilities management, structure, and MEP. Okay, ayan. So for the grading system, so I believe you are well familiar with this one, pero ang class standing is 70 and 30. But now I opt to add portions sa midterm and final exam so that I won't be asking further further requirements for the grading system. So for the 60%, that's 10% for the class participation. It involves attendance, it involves recitation. Ayan. So kung maka-attend ka ng class natin palagi, so that's 10%. Okay? Then kung palaging recording lang yung ina-attendan mo, so you will only get a portion of that. Okay? And then assignment, of course, if you can attend, and then if you are available to submit assignment and also the seat work. So that's another 10%. So kumbaga yung first 30% madali. Kanina may nagtanong sa akin sa ibang class may nagtanong kung base 30 daw, kung may base ba yung subject ko, wala. Base 0, as in wala akong minimum grade. As in, ang minimum grade ko 0. Pero it's not hard for you to get that 30% kasi class participation, assignment, and seat work. So hindi siya ganun kahirap i-accomplish. So yung quizzes, 15%, the project is 15%. So maaaring you might wonder why nilipat ko yung 10% dito kaysa ko pa siya i-distribute. Kasi pag distribute ko, lalaki yung percentages nito na hindi na siya appropriate. Just imagine kung yung quizzes magiging 20 and tsaka yung project. Tapos ito, 15% lang, di ba parang ang baba naman nun. So, kaya I adjust the grade to 40% for the major exam. I hope clear siya. Then for the requirement, at least we will be having at least 4 quizzes, 4 seat works, and 4 assignments for each. And then yung project natin that we will be discussing later. Tsaka yung major exams, the midterm final exam. Ito, class participation, I already discussed that one. For the grading system, so familiar naman kayo dito, so I won't go through with it. Pero I would like to emphasize something about this grading system na habang maaga pa lang, okay, please do your part as my student, and I'll do my part as your instructor for the subject para later on hindi kayo magkakaproblema sa subject na sasabihin niyo, sir, ano yung pwede kong gawin para umabot yung grade ko? So I don't normally entertain that. Okay? Maliban na lang kung case-to-case basis at sobrang valid ng reason. Pero hindi ko siya ine-entertain. Whatever grade computed, so yun na yun. Kaya as early as today, I would um, plead sa inyo na please submit all the requirements, pass all the exams properly, so hindi kayo magkakaproblema sa subject natin. Okay? Kasi yung iba, hindi po papasok, hindi na ipapasa, late magpapasa. So hindi siya attitude or hindi siya behavior ng responsible student. So again, as early as today sinasabi ko na 'yon para hindi tayo magkaproblema later on. Okay? And madali lang naman yung subject, so I don't think magkakaproblema kayo. So for the classroom policies, again, regular attendance is expected. Nag-check ako ng attendance. Pero this one solely focused on the exams, lalo pag face-to-face tayo. So or kapag nagpapa-face-to-face ako, medyo mahigpit ako diyan, nag-check ako ng attendance. So for any late submission, it will not be accepted. So please make sure to submit your deliverables on time. And then for all paperworks, kapag may mga sasubmit kayo like seat work na handwritten, seat work or assignment na computerized or handwritten, so please make sure to use A4 size. Kapag hindi A4 size yung pinasa nyo, so -20. Now, even though na soft copy lang yung kunwari ang i-require ko sa inyo soft copy. Even though soft copy yon, dapat A4 size pa din. Madali namang malaman pag nakita ko doon sa sininyo paper kung that's A4 size or not. Okay? So please use A4 size, if not -20 kagad for not following the correct paper size. The notebooks are recommended but not necessarily required. Nasa sa inyo yun kung gusto nyo gumamit, pero I would recommend use one kasi as you write, there would be retention sa utak nyo kasi nare-review nyo na siya in a way. Unlike kasi kapag presentation na tapos ini-scroll nyo lang, swipe to the left, swipe to the right yung gadget nyo. So hindi lahat nare-retain. Okay? And then only 2 valid absences will be allowed. Okay? So for this one, it focus on the exams. So hanggang 2 valid absences lang. Pero pag lagi kang absent at hihingi ka sa akin ng special exam every time na meron tayong exam, so hindi ko i-allow 'yun basta hanggang 2 lang. Ngayon, for me to allow you to take the special exam, I will not be requiring you excuse letter but I need to talk to your parent. Okay, dapat magulang mo talaga. Okay, and you need to prove na magulang mo yung kausap ko. If not, so hindi ko siya i-entertain. Okay, again, para less hassle, pasok na lang kayo during exams. Okay, madali lang naman. Then quizzes, at least 2. So 2 for midterm, 2 for finals. Ito yung ibig ko sabihin dito. And all coverage for quizzes and major exams are announced. Then lastly, dito ko mahigpit. So all forms of dishonesty, cheating will not be tolerated sa class na to. Not sure ko what is stipulated sa student handbook, if it is failing only with the quizzes or exams na nag-cheat kayo. Pero on my end, once na mahuli ko kayo, bagsak na kayo sa subject ko. Hindi ko susundin yung nasa handbook. Okay? So, again, wag na kayong mag-cheat or don't do anything or any forms of dishonesty kasi hindi rin naman maganda. Okay? Ito sinabi ko to kanina sa kabilang section. As early as now, sa age nyo na to, okay, I would like to implant sa inyo yung honesty and integrity. Siguro naman timely kung anong nangyayari sa government natin ngayon, 'di ba? Yung problema kinakaharap ng country natin. So, we don't want or kahit kayo, 'di ba? Ayaw nyo na you would be benefiting from something na hindi siya coming from an honest source, okay? Or nakuha mo siya ng hindi malinis. So we want everything to achieve as honest as possible. At saka rewarding yon kapag ka nakuha mo yung isang bagay na pinaghirapan mo ng malinis. Alam mo sa sarili mo, meron kang pinapangalagaang meron kang pinapangalagaang pangalan and reputation. So don't exchange your reputation for something that you would be benefiting, lalo na kung yon ay coming from any forms of dishonesty. Okay? So kaya medyo mahigpit ako dito. And ayun, siguro later na lang may sasabihin ako about this what ko maalala ko pa. Kaya lang kasi we are on the record. So let's have it later na lang. Anyway, so yun, construct policy will be implemented. So ibig sabihin nito, bagsak ka na sa subject once I caught you. Now, since I said na yun nga, hindi ako available every Thursday, so I already informed Engineer Kenneth about that because of this. So pakilala pala muna ako, class. By the way, so I am Engineer Mark Tristan Felix, MSCE. So my educational background is I am a graduate of Mapua, batch 2006 until 2010, and I took my board exam last May 2011. And then after a year na makapasa ako sa board, I took my master's degree in structural engineering, yung yung specialization ko for the Master of Science in Civil Engineering. So that's from 2012 until 2014. It is a program with thesis. And then afterwards, after 11 years, so I'm currently taking up my PhD sa UP Diliman. Ang major ko ngayon is water resource. The reason why there's a sudden shift with my specialization kasi all throughout my full-time job, I am a water engineer. So might as well take that one for my PhD. Okay? Then, I am a part-time faculty lang sa school natin. So, I started last year, second sem. So, it's my third semester for the university. And also, I am a part-time faculty sa Adamson University. In case you have concerns with me na kailangan nyo ako makita physically or face-to-face, so we can arrange that kung wala ako sa school ng hapon or Saturday, I am available sa Adamson University ng MWF afternoon hanggang gabi. So yun, kung may concerns lang kayo. May mga cases kasi na mayroon ako mga estudyante sa university natin na nagpupunta sa kabilang school. So I am open to to accommodate you. Okay? And then I am also a part-time faculty before sa FEU Institute of Technology for 5 years. And then for my full-time job, so I am a water engineer sa Oricon. So from 2022 until present. So it is an Australian firm. So nagde-design kami ng mga drainage system, yung team namin under Oricon. And then before I was part of GHD Philippines, so an Australian firm din, pero may local presence dito yan sa Philippines. So merong mga Philippine project ang GHD. And then yun, I am also part of the line associates before for 4 years. Well, sarado na tong company na to. Now, ayun, pinakita ko to kasi probably later in your career, you might want to try these companies, lalo na since you are part of a ladderized program na later on you will become a civil engineering student. Na later on magiging civil engineer kayo. So pwede nyong try mag-apply sa mga companies na to. So it's a good paying job. It's a good paying company. Tsaka international companies to, hindi to local companies. Na kung meron kayong aspirations to migrate, like for example sa Australia or New Zealand, na yun yung common nangyayari sa mga nakakatrabaho namin dito kasi yung mga projects na ginagawa namin is located doon. So when you're evaluated by the Australian government, so medyo maganda yung CV or your resume para mas appealing sa kanila. Yun, mas madali kayo matatanggap pag magma-migrate kayo. Ayun. Pero anyway, ayun nga, kaya hindi ako available to most of the time to conduct face-to-face every Thursday kasi nagpe-PhD ako sa UP. So I have a class later na although hindi siya magko-conflict sa schedule natin, pero hindi ako aabot kung pupunta pa ako ng school kasi medyo malayo yung Diliman papunta ng school natin. Kaya might as well mag-online na lang tayo. Okay? I hope yan clear yun. So yun pa lang, humihingi na ako ng apology kung hindi tayo masyado magkikita. Okay, then next, let's go to the topic. Ayan. But before that, let me show you the syllabus. Ano ba yun? Ito, this is the syllabus coming from the department. And there's a module na nanggaling sa department. I-discuss natin, actually mabilis lang yung lecture ngayon. That's the reason why I am opting to add additional topics na may kinalaman sa software. Kasi kung ito lang tapos to kagad ng ilang araw. Okay? So week 1, na hindi tayo nakapag-meet, pakita ko muna. So ito i-discuss natin ngayon. Yung goals and expectation, nasabi ko na yan, yung part na din ng requirement. Kani-kanina lang. So okay na tayo dyan. Ito hindi ko na ito i-discuss kasi familiar naman kayo dyan. Palaging naman dinidiscuss yan ng mga other faculties nyo. So basically, they are the same din naman. So mag-consume lang tayo ng time kasi second week na tayo. So let's proceed with the introduction na mismong topic natin. So for the week 2 and 3, so our topic is synthesizing aspects and constraint of structural design using BIM and proposed framework in education. Ito yan. Nasa module yan. So yung module na yan, that's only 3 pages. Kasi gusto nyo tapos kagad to eh. Okay. So, well, kailangan lang natin i-stretch. So, as you go along, for me to stretch the topic, so I will be presenting or I will let you apply whatever we need to know about the subject sa mga softwares na binanggit ko kanina. Then, for week 4, yung BMC. So, ito yan. BIM-based model checking. So, maiksi lang yan. And then, next is lesson 3. BIM and cost estimating. And change in the process. Ayan. So, nandito din yan. Next is BIM inertia for week 8. Okay, so yan. By the way, kasi i-upload ko din to ha. Pero etong nandito is kino-convert ko sa presentation tapos nagdadagdag pa ako ng mga additional key points para align yung tinuturo ko sa expectation ng university and at the same time yung tinuturo ko is what is being dealt with the industry. Okay, so para combine silang dalawa. Para alam nyo na wala akong nami-miss out. Kaya ko to pinapakita. Then next is week 10 and 12, 10 to 12, building information for facilities management. Ayan. So andyan din yan. Next, week 13 and 14, adapted cyber physical. Ayan siya. So kompleto yan. Then next is 16 to 17, domain independent facility control. Ayan. I think dito na mag-e-end. Ayan. Ayan din. Again, on top of that, we will be having our tawag dito software tutorials. So gagawa ko again ng separate link for that para mas matry nyo yung software and then mas ma-appreciate nyo yung lesson, and at the same time yun, may advantage na kayo doon sa other graduates. Just to share with you yung software na Civil 3D of all schools na nakita nyo, naging part ako, naging estudyante man ako doon or naging faculty ako, isa lang yung school na nagtuturo noon, FEU. So it would also be good if you would be able to have some knowledge with that para magkaroon kayo ng advantage. Kasi remember, kapag naging civil engineer kayo in the future, so at least hindi kayo limited lang sa construction, sa structural, matututo din kayo ng other aspect in terms of software. Kasi pwede nyo siyang mailagay sa CV nyo na minsan akong tinuruan ng teacher ko na ganito, so pwede ko siyang mailagay. Kasi totally at all, wala kayong alam. Okay, so pandagdag din yan sa CV nyo later on. It's for your career building. Okay? Ayan, so pinakita ko. And then now, let's go to the lecture. So, for Module 1, so it's synthesizing aspects and constraints of structural design using BIM in a proposed framework in education. Take note, eto hindi lang structural design yung i-cover ko along the way, pati civil aspect kasi may civil design yan eh, may kinalaman sa infrastructure. Ngayon, tawag dito, the reason why is that hindi lang naman structural design dapat yung alam nyo bilang civil engineer, pati yung mga civil works, pati yung mga infrastructure projects. So kaya lalahatin na natin. Okay? So yun. So introduction. So the integration of BIM or Building Information Modeling in structural design offers a dynamic approach to synthesizing various aspects and constraints in construction such as load-bearing, load-bearing capacity, material sustainability, and regulatory requirements. Take note, whenever we deal with this BIM, we synthesize various aspects and constraints in construction. Ngayon, mga makikita mo doon sa BIM, yung mga load-bearing capacity ng mga members, anong klaseng material, yung sustainability, and then if we are abiding to regulatory requirements. Okay? So then, BIM enables the creation of detailed data-driven models that enhance collaboration. So, gumagawa tayo ng model to enhance collaboration. So, para magka-idea kayo habang wala pa akong pinapakitang picture, imagine gagawa kayo ng bahay. Okay? So, as part of your model, yung mga poste, gagawin yung 3D. Okay? Yung laman ng poste, ilalagay nyo yung mga bakal. Di ba usually pagka 3D ng bahay, walang mga poste, walang mga bakal. So, pwede nyo lagyan ng bakal. Yun yung part of the modeling. Na later on, you will collaborate it at a streamlined design process. Ngayon, ang reason nun is for the collaboration. So for us, would allow early identification of potential issue. An example of that is kunwari minodel mo yung second floor. So may slab. Yung sahig, may bakal. Ngayon, merong ikakabit na pipe. Okay? Yung kunwari yung vent nung sa may septic tank. Kunwari, bubutasin niya yung slab. Ngayon, kung ganun yung case, pagka binutas ba ng pipe yung slab, may tatamaan ba siyang bakal o wala? So yun yung kailangan natin makita, an example of a potential issue. Kung may tatamaan siyang bakal, kailangan mong iiwas. Ngayon, kung meron dadaan na pipe at wala na siyang dadaanan pa, ang i-adjust mo ng konti yung pagkaka-layout ng bakal para sa actual hindi magbubuhos sa site tapos bubutasin yung slab. Para sa simula pa lang butas na bago buhusan. Okay? Kasi kapag binutas mo yun at na bali mo yung bakal, so it would compromise somehow yung structural integrity ng slab mo kasi pinutol mo yung bakal kesa iniwas mo na lang. So yun, lahat ng yun, potential mo siyang makita kapag may model ka under BIM at nakipag-collaborate ka sa other discipline na involved doon sa certain issue or sa certain aspect na yon. Okay? This lesson explore how BIM can be utilized to address structural design challenges. Ayun nga yung sinasabi ko example. Or civil, hindi lang siya limited. Then, and proposes a framework for incorporating BIM into education. By embedding BIM in academic curriculums, future engineers like you and architects can gain a deeper understanding of modern construction practices, equipping them to manage increasingly complex projects. Okay. So what are the learning objectives ng module na to bago matapos yung araw? Una, mapamiliarize ko kayo the significance of structural/civil design using BIM. Ano bang mapapala natin dyan? Okay. Para saan yan? Understand the BIM proposed framework in education. So BIM, i-define muna natin para mas maintindihan natin. It is a collaborative process of creating and managing digital, okay, digital ibig sabihin nasa computer, intelligent 3D models that represent the physical and functional characteristics of a project like building or infrastructure. So basically, yung kailangan, kung ano yung itatayo mo on site, may model ka sa computer mo. Ganun lang siya kasimple. These models serve as a central data repository for the entire project lifecycle. So ano ba yung lifecycle ng project? From planning and design to construction, operation, ayan, enabling better communication, coordination, and decision making among all stakeholders. So whenever there are issues arising, so by having a BIM para prior on hand pa lang bago makita on site yung ganong problema, makita mo na sa computer. So, yung mga stakeholders can now decide anong gagawin. Okay. So, an example of the image of this one is ito. Ayan. So, for example, ito, ayan, ito ang naka-highlight lang is yung plumbing. This is for the MEPF. And then yung naka-gray is part of the structure. So, assuming ito is a beam, okay? Ngayon, eto bang line na to is tutusok ba yan doon sa beam natin or dadaan lang sa ilalim? So kung tutusok siya, titingnan mo may tatamaan bang bakal doon sa level niya. Kung wala, so okay lang, tumusok. Or if manageable, i-turn around na lang, dumaan sa ilalim ng beam yung pipe. So basically, those are the things na kino-consider natin with this one. Okay? Yan. So what are the key aspects of BIM? So of course nasabi na natin kanina, it is a 3D model, an intelligent 3D model. So unlike 2D CAD na I assume lahat kayo marunong ng mag-CAD kung meron kayong subject na AutoCAD. So yung CAD kasi isang output is paper. Yung 3D ang output niyan, makikita mo sa computer. So using that, we use that for BIM, okay? Na kung saan BIM uses a data-rich 3D models. Ayan. That contains more than just graphical information, unlike yung 2D. Pero hindi rin naman masama marunong kayo nito kasi kailangan marunong pa rin naman kayo nitong basic or the manual version. So, pero mas maganda din na you know both. So, may I just share pala, ano bang itsura ng, or ano ba yung mga kakailanganin natin sa BIM? Okay, an example of this, pakita ko lang muna to, is the LOD or the level of development. So for the level of development, although nasabi natin kanina 3D, may level pa yung 3D na later i-discuss natin to further. For example, this one. Pag sinabi mong LOD 100, it's just basically preliminary layout, rough size and geometry. Ganito lang siya. Pero kapag LOD 200, so medyo nagbago na, naging I-beam na. So ito pala, hindi pala yan concrete, wide flange. Pero isang line lang. Ngayon, LOD 300, nagdalagay ka na ng material specification. LOD 400, nagdadagdag ka na ng ng additional info hanggang umabot ka ng LOD 500. Ngayon, as you increase the LOD number from 100 to 500, you also increase the level of detail. Okay? And then, at the same time, as you increase this one, syempre, sa end natin, bilang gumagawa ng model, you increase the pay. Kasi dumadami yung trabaho mo imbis na simpleng box lang 'di ba? Ngayon, as you increase the pay, you need to increase the total contract price ng isang project sa kontrata. Ngayon, kapag ang pinirmahan yung contract is LOD 200 lang, so tapos hinahanapan kayo ng additional detail, ang lagi niyo sasabihin, wala sa kontrata 'yan. Kung gusto niyo, pwede naming ilagay, i-model, pero we need to have an additional pay for that. So ang tawag doon variation. Okay? So yun. Well, later na natin to i-discuss further etong level of detail na to. Pero take note na for the beam meron pa siyang iba't ibang level ng level of development. So for example, etong bahay kung instead of pa-square lang, yan nagiging much detailed yung representation niya. Okay, I hope clear yan. So let's go back. So next is the life cycle management. So the model uses a single source of truth that tracks an asset from its initial concept through the entire existence. So yun, isa lang naman yung source ng model na later as you go along, you improve that model or you adjust that model based on the coordination, pero hindi pwedeng paiba-iba. And then yun nga, coordination or collaboration, it is a collaborative process where architects, engineers, contractors, and other stakeholders work together sharing information in a unified environment. In our case, so we can use a unified environment sa Navisworks or meron tayong tinatawag na BIM 360. Pero alam ko meron pang other platform na later I'll explain yung mga examples na yon. And then further within the course. So data integration, BIM integrates structure multidisciplinary data, making project management easier and more streamlined. So yun nga, you integrate the models of all multidiscipline, electrical, mechanical, structural, architectural, plumbing, okay? Then yun nga, and then it makes the management easier kasi lahat nako-collaborate na, nako-coordinate na to each other. Like in terms of clash detection, so makikita mo ano yung mga nagbanggaan. So sino yung kailangan mag-adjust, sino yung pwedeng hindi mag-adjust. So lahat yun nakikita na agad. So the application used in architecture, engineering, and construction, the AEC industry, to design, construct, and manage various physical assets, including building, roads, bridges, and utilities. So yun, meron tayong mga various application for us to use in the modeling na later on we will integrate it to the BIM. So take note na kaya kung sinasabi kanina structural / civil design kasi nga including sa trabaho natin yung roads, bridges, and utilities. Okay. Then lastly, ano bang mabe-benefit natin from the BIM? So leads to improve coordination, reduce errors, and rework. So ayaw na ayaw natin yan. Kaysa kunwari, meron palang downspout na dadaan, tapos alam mo may tatamaan. So kung sa design pa lang or sa modeling, nakita mo na yan sa BIM, maiiwasan mo na yang ma-encounter sa site. So it would reduce error, tsaka rework para dun sa mga gumagawa on site. And then better cost management, enhanced visualization, and more efficient project delivery. Yun nga lang on top of it, since if you're going to require BIM sa isang project, so it would incur additional cost sa client. Pero that additional cost is somewhat justifiable kasi nire-reduce natin yung error. Kasi ganoon din kung walang BIM tapos nagka-error sa site. So may rework, may additional cost din sa client. Then yun. So a very brief history of this one, that building structure have always been essential component of building design. So this is attributed to the roles and meaning of safety, economy, performance of buildings to the society at large. From early societies to the present, buildings have provided shelter, encouraged productivity, embodied cultural history, and definitely represented an important part of human civilization. So yan yung mga building structures na engineering marvels like pyramid, ayan. So na naging part siya ng human civilization. So in fact, the roles of structures are constantly changing in terms of shaping certain quantities of material to provide efficient support to the architecture against gravity and other environmental forces. Ayan. So yan na yung nag-a-apply tayo ng mga further science doon sa mga structures natin. So let's deal with the BIM in education. And since BIM is quite different from traditional CAD, kasi yun nga yung CAD is 2D, BIM is 3D, it require new ways of thinking and teaching. For example, BIM facilitates collaboration and teamwork across disciplines that must be incorporated in the teaching of BIM courses. Na ito nga yung subject natin. Furthermore, BIM provides rich visualization of building elements and parametric modeling of behavior, which can enhance students' learning experience in virtual construction, such as understanding how building elements fit together just as they must on a physical site. So that's the reason why I am recommending you to have kung may access kayo sa computer to try modeling it kasi nga yun para mas ma-appreciate nyo yung learning experience doon sa subject natin, although not part of the syllabus. Continuation. The Structure and Architecture Synergy Framework, SAS, so it focuses on the interplay between the architecture and structures and emphasize a learning process that is highly creative in nature. So ipakita ko sa inyo yung framework na to. So this framework, so as you can see doon sa upper part, that is the architecture, on the lower part, that is the engineering. So dito, sa other structural melodies, so yung process and objective definition, so nag-aano niyan, si architect. So ina-apply, so inaano yung pina-formulate niya what would be the looks of the structure, and then later on based yun sa kakagustuhan ni client. So he or she will use BIM tools for that, and then it will be deliberately discussed by the architects and engineers under this integrates creativity, innovation, and artistic expression. So they are applying it kung paano ba ito maisa sa katuparan. So nagkakaroon ng brainstorming, it is being discussed while the architect is using BIM tools on the other hand. Now, once it's done, and now for the engineering aspect to work on, so the engineer will now work for the structural analysis. So nagko-compute na siya, magsa-size siya ng mga bakal, ganyan, poste, etc. So with that, it will go to the BIM tools na gagamitin niya, and it will be a cycle hanggang sa completion ng project for them to accomplish a certain goal. Okay? Now, for the software used in BIM, ito, hindi lang naman siya limited, pero nakita ko lang to sa online. Okay? So, for the 3D modeling, you may use these softwares. Ito yung dalawang software na sinabi ko sa inyo. Pang-model talaga siya. And then, yung isa naman, Navisworks, that is for coordination. So, the models modeled here can put here inside this model, this software, para ma-coordinate po yung mga yung mga model na ginawa dito at mga model na ginawa dito. On the other hand, there's more softwares if you're going to use for the analysis. So ito yung mga computation. I think part din dito sa analysis or the computation is the STAAD and ETABS. So yun yung magbibigay sa'yo ng mga sizes ng kunwari ng poste, ng number of bakal. So na pwede mong i-model later on sa Revit. Okay, tapos papasok mo sa Navisworks. For the programming, kung meron kang kailangang i-alter with the programs ng mga software, so you may use this Python, C++, or Dynamo. And on the other hand naman, for visual animation, so ito naman yung software na pwede nating magamit para mas ma-appreciate ni client ano yung final output ng ating ginagawang project. Okay, and then they all collaborate on a BIM software. Mamaya pakita ko yung sample ng BIM software na yan. And then, ito pa. So, ito ata example to ng planning. So, planner, baka company to. Sabihin natin kayo, yung nasa planning. Saan nyo i-author yung model? Dito. Saan, ano yung mga ginagamit yung pang-analyze. And then, for collaborations dito. And then, I'm not sure what use is this. Pero yun. Etong BIM 360, ito ipapakita ko sa inyo. This is where we collaborate. Pakita ko lang. So, by the way, last slide na yan. So, pakita ko lang yung BIM 360. Ayan. So, sa BIM 360, so, paano lang siya? Para siyang cloud-based server. Pwede mong i-upload yung mga document for collaboration, for easy access, and then pwede mong i-process doon yung mga 3D models nyong lahat. Tapos pwede mo nang ma-view anong itsura ng project. So basically, para siyang ganito, sa ano lang 'to, sa Google Chrome puwede ganito yung view. So you can create folders et cetera for collaboration. And then if you add all the models sa Naviswork, puwede mong i-upload yung Naviswork dito, and then 'pag kinlik nila yung model ng Naviswork, they can view the 3D model sa mismong Google Chrome. Well, yung other files uploaded, kung may mga AutoCAD file, sa AutoCAD mo siya i-open. Pero particularly sa Naviswork, puwede mong ma-view yung 3D model sa Naviswork dito sa ano na 'to, sa interface na 'to. So pakita ko lang muna yung Navisworks. Ayan, so sa Naviswork 'pag pinagsama-sama mo, eto for example ito. So yung mga yung mga gray, structural 'yan, tapos may scaffolding, tapos may mga piping. Magkakaibang kulay, magkakaibang discipline yung gumawa na 'yan. So pag pinagsama-sama mo, eto yung makikita mo sa Naviswork. Now, since you would be able to create a file sa Naviswork, 'pag in-upload mo 'yan doon sa pinakita kong BIM 360 kanina, um, puwede mong ma-view yung model sa Google Chrome, hindi puwedeng hindi sa software na 'to. Kaya lang ang alam ko wala siyang clash detection. Unlike dito sa software na 'to, may clash detection. Doon ano lang, overview. Tingnan nga natin. BIM 360. Eto, ayan. So, ayan, 'di ba, ano siya, website. Tapos 'pag in-upload mo, so makikita mo na dito yung 3D model na puwede mo din of course ma-view sa Naviswork. So ano, it comes handy lalo na sa mga taong walang access dito, like sa cellphone puwede kaagad nila makita 'to. Okay. On the other hand, this, BIM 360, BIM 360, yung mga files na nakita niyo kanina sa Google Chrome for example, can also be located sa local file. So, saan na ba yun? BIM 3. Using Autodesk Connector, eto, ayan. So parang puwede mong i-sync yung folder mo sa BIM 360 na nandito sa Google Chrome para ma-sync dito sa folder mo. Na pag kinlik mo 'to, instead of going dito sa Google ano natin, sa ano 'to, dito sa, Google Chrome, so puwede mo na siyang i-view doon sa Windows Explorer nung computer mo. So basically ano siya, it would make your life easier kaysa dito ka didiretso. Okay, tsaka 'di ba 'pag nag-open tayo ng file, we also open it sa computer natin yung software ta's open file. Kasi dito ida-download pa 'yan dahil nga nasa cloud 'yan. Pero eto mas madali, any update na gagawin mo magsi-sync na lang 'yan para ma-update yung nandito sa cloud base. So basically 'yun, we will be discussing that, later. Mahihirapan lang tayong gumawa mahihirapan lang ako siguro mag-share ng ano sa BIM 360 kasi this is somewhat ano, may bayad. Pero at least yung concept I will discuss sa inyo para mas somehow maintindihan niyo what BIM 360 is all about or paano nakikipag-collaborate. Okay? Ayun lang, and that will be the end. Wala na ako next slide. So that will be the end of our discussion. So any question? Stop ko na yung recording.